pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Friday, February the 3rd, 2023. We are about a month, man, past the end of the season, and it doesn't seem like that. The first couple days was kind of tough, and then the second week and everything like that was not as bad. What's up, Marcus, Greg, Mr. Poole in the building? Y'all can hear me, right? Because I got a lot of people like, where's Greg? So I got to make sure y'all can hear your boy, man. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat, because y'all got me nervous right now. But I hope everybody is having a great afternoon. Thank you, Marcus. Great afternoon. You had a great week, and we are starting the weekend. Oh, man. Listen, I saw the Pro Bowl games on YouTube yesterday. I was not interested in the Pro Bowl, but I have to give the NFL credit. I really do. The Pro Bowl games were absolutely hilarious. The commentators, the players, they had me roll. I literally was crying laughing. That's how funny that the Pro Bowl games were. Like, it was the players. It's funny to, these men hit each other violently for a living. And to see them having fun and joking around, man, was fantastic. Now, when it comes to the catch, I love the way they did this. Like, I wasn't very high on the Pro Bowl, never really cared for it, but this looks like it's fun. And I'm impressed with how the NFL put this together. I'm very impressed in that. I think my favorite part, I liked it all, but who wins the catch? Who wins the catch? To me, straight up, no bias, I'm on Ross St. Brown. I mean, I would have to say that Justin Jefferson's catch was, it was all right. It was all right. You know what I'm saying? He caught a ball from the quote-unquote Eiffel Tower, and it was okay. But he missed a couple balls, and then the third or fourth one he caught. St. Brown, man, please. The flip, the catch, the one that he caught running on the little lily pad things, man, give me Amon-Ra all day. So make sure you vote on that. I love the way they did it, man. So shout out to the NFL. Also, don't forget, today is the last day that you can vote for Aiden Hutchinson to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That honor will be announced next Saturday. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, the day before Super Bowl Sunday. So I am excited about that. I think he's going to win it. We talked about it before. I think he's going to win it. And I'm excited. I'm also excited, and I think I'm going to make a video on grid today. I've been making videos for all my channels. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about 5 or 6 channels, and I'm making videos for all of them. And I just want to say real quick, and we'll get into Lions, but I want y'all to get to know me a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, so I am driven by disrespect, right? And I'm gonna share something with you that I shared in my chat before. Okay, so this comes out. Joe Mixon has charges dropped. Coming from Bleacher Report, Joe Mixon has charges dropped. Okay, so not to get all, I don't want to, get all serious and all that stuff, but just give me 5 minutes of your time. So when I was 18, I found out that the person that raised me was not my biological father. I kind of felt something was different, not from him, but just I felt like I didn't fit in. Like, look at my sister. So I found out that he was not my biological father. And then I didn't find my biological father. Someone else did. And he wanted to connect with me, I guess, but I didn't really care to connect with him. But growing up as a youth, different things have been driving me. So when I was 18 and I found that out, I wondered, and since that moment, I wondered if that's one of the reasons why kind of inside I've been driven to just do whatever needs to be done, right? So if you don't know, when it comes to YouTube, I want to be successful. I want to have my own business. I want to have several multiple channels. I want to do this full time. Now, I'm not anywhere near that, but that's my goal. And sometimes you just need that spark. You need to see something. I'm one of the guys that I kind of wake up, and if I don't feel like doing something, I'll see something. And I'll say, Derek, you have to get up and do it. Like, at that point. So it's just, I want to be successful. I want the people who are part of the Syndicate to be successful. I want us to have, eventually, I would love for this to turn into a business. That would be my ultimate goal. So, but in doing that, I want to bring you the best content possible. I always want to connect with the fans. I never want to be corporate. I want to make sure that the fans are at the front of this journey, because I am a fan at the end of the day. And I will never, ever give up my fandom for any proposition of any sort. So that's where I'm at with that. I just wanted to tell y'all that, man. Give you 5 minutes. Thank you for 5 minutes of your time. Let's get this thing started, man. Fresh and Fly says, Grid, since we hired Dre Bly, we are definitely drafting a quarterback in the first round, but we also hired a tight end coach. Does that mean that we're also taking a tight end somewhere in the draft? Or is the hire for developing? Man, Fresh and Fly, you came in on fire, bro. We're going to put that at the top of the list. That's a two-part question. I definitely think we're drafting a cornerback in the first round, and I think that goes without saying, Fresh. But the tight end, I like that. And to me, that doesn't mean we're drafting a tight end. In my opinion, we would get one in free agency before we drafted a tight end. That is my opinion, 100%. So as far as plus we needed one, you know what I'm saying, because Ben Johnson got promoted last year. And I don't know who was our tight end coach all last year. But I think that we're definitely, just out of necessity, bro, we need a cornerback deeply. We need more than one, to tell you the truth. So I personally believe that we are going to I don't think we're going to draft a quarterback. We just a tight end. We just drafted one, bro. Like, seriously. And we drafted one with TJ Hawkinson. We trade away TJ Hawkinson, and then we'll draft another one. Like, to me, that would just be dumb. Marcus says, I think we can go all defense in the draft. We very well could. Patty says, I hope your success, but don't get a big head. Oh, so Patty, let me just tell you something, bro. I will never, ever do that. One thing I learned about being on YouTube, and before that, you knew this, but when you're on YouTube, YouTube has become a business. I just watched a show today where a YouTuber was breaking down the 5 eras of YouTube, and we're already in Generation 5. And Generation 5 is business. Like, YouTube, if people 10 years from now, you will not, if you're getting mocked for making YouTube a business, you won't get mocked in 10 years, because YouTube is a business. You can make a living on this platform, right? So that'll never happen, bro. My mother raised me different from that. My moral standards are higher than that. And I know I'm only as good as the people want me to be. So why would I start thinking a lot of myself? Now, don't get me wrong. I toot my own horn, and I know I'm confident, but I'm not cocky, because anything you have can be taken away in a second. And then when you, like I said to y'all, I like to use this. If you climb Mount Everest and you go up too high, you're going to need oxygen, right? You can only stay up at the summit for so long. So you have to come back down. So I like to use that analogy with my life. Any success I have can be short-lived, but don't start thinking too much of yourself where you forget what it feels like to be back on the ground, because your head is not level. You know what I'm saying? Your blood, all that stuff, bro. So I got analogies for days. But let's get into this thing, man. I wouldn't mind Darnell Washington, says Nick. What's up, Nick? In the second or third round, he's 6'7", 270 pounds, basically a sixth lineman that can stretch the field. Well, this is the first time I've heard his name, bro. I've heard his name. But shout out to my guy, man, Mr. Poole, all the regulars, man, Nick, Lions Mania, Patty, everybody in here who rock every single day. We are 7 months from Lions football, but the excitement is only going to build as we go. Now, I'm a bit curious because I've heard and seen videos that we have a new running back coach, but I have not seen that. I have heard that some people could potentially take that role that Deuce left, but I haven't heard that anything is official. Oh yeah, Patty. Listen, bro. And I'll make this quick. I was born in Detroit. I was raised in Detroit. I lived most of my life in Detroit. I stay about 10 miles outside the city right now, and there's no way I forget where I come from. And I'm the type of guy that takes people with me. Y'all ever seen the movie Backdraft? And spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the movie Backdraft, mute your phone for about 30 seconds. At the end of the movie Backdraft, there was a fellow firefighter that was the one committing the arsons. And Kurt Russell's character confronts him and some other people, and they confront him, and he's on a walkway. It crumbles, he falls off. So Kurt Russell character is holding on to the walkway with one arm. He's holding his workmate, his brother, with the other arm. And so the arsonist says, "Let me go, Bull." And Bull says, which is Kurt Russell's character, "You go, I go." And they both fail. That's the type of dude I am. If I go, I'm taking you with me. That's how that is. On the come up, that is. I'm not trying to bring people down, but if I go up, you coming with me. So I'm not going to forget where I came from, man. My upbringing will not let me. But this is a little curious, and I wanted to talk about it because this is the first time that I've seen this. And shout out to my guy, Mr. Poole, as well. Always making sure that NFL, anything NFL, man, Detroit Lions and otherwise, I am in the mix. And I think we have to have a conversation about this because this is a decision that we have to make. So it's a couple topics today that we're going to talk about. I will say this. My off-season goal is to be in the studio, build up the little section of my basement that I have a studio. I would love to appear on camera. That's the the ultimate goal. All right, so let's get the first segment out the way today. Coming from Fansided, this is our guy, my guy, Brad Berryman. Now, this article is from yesterday. Shout out to Brad. I'm gonna see if I can get that brother on the show because I use a lot of his content, and I like a lot of his takes, except, when he's talking about Jared Goff, because he don't like Jared Goff. So, but this comes from Fansided a day ago. Okay. Alex Anzalone seems to be eyeing multi-year deal to stay with the Lions. Now, for those of you who don't know, Alex Anzalone spent some time with Dan Campbell, I believe, as part of the New Orleans Saints. One of Dan Campbell's first things when he got hired is to bring over guys that he was familiar with. Alex Anzalone. And Alex Anzalone came to Detroit, got a one-year deal. He was one of the free agents that was a free agent last offseason. He got another one-year deal. And I understand Alex Anzalone saying, hey, Khalif Raymond got a 2-year deal. Josh Reynolds got a 2-year deal. Charles Harris got a 2-year deal, right? Where's my 2-year deal? Now, Brad Holmes is not a 3-year deal guy. He's barely a multi-year deal guy. Brad Holmes is the prove it guy. And if you prove it, you get a second contract that will be 2 years, right? So Alex Anzalone wants to be part of the Detroit Lions for multiple years. As Tim Twentyman noted, Alex Anzalone talked about his upcoming free agency and wanting to stay with the Lions right after the season. And this is what he had to say. He said, I feel like obviously it's a fit, but there are multiple layers to that. Anzalone said right after the season ended about signing back in Detroit. I'm going into year 7, and you have to take care of your family. But I love Dan Campbell and AG, and I love what we're doing here. Now, for those of you who remember, after the season, of the 2021 season, Anzalone had this lengthy post basically saying goodbye to the city of Detroit. And I guess he was shocked that we re-signed him. And he re-signed, and he was one of the bright spots on the defense. He really was. He did make a step up from last year. And now it looks like he is looking for multiple years as that deal. So what would you say? DC says sign our linebacker. Anzalone has proved himself. We still need to draft a linebacker. Kid Rapper says no multi-year deal, please. LOL. He played good this year. Don't trust his consistency. Okay, so question. Do you think Alex Anzalone has earned a 2-year deal? If you compare him to Khalif Raymond, they gave Josh Reynolds a 2-year deal, and Josh Reynolds had a 7-game. He was here for 7 games. So if Brad Holmes offered Anzalone a 2-year deal, how would you feel? Coming off this season, which is the best season of his career, Anzalone is in a position to maximize his value on the open market and get more than a 1-year deal for, let's say, $3 to $5 million per year. If the Lions don't come with an offer that compares to other offers he gets, Anzalone's decision to go elsewhere could become easy. Alex Anzalone, multi-year deal. Brad Holmes we have not seen him give a 3-year deal in his time in Detroit. So you're talking about a 2-year deal ranging from $6 to $10 million. Now, if he gets paid $10 million, that's more than Jamal Williams got. 2 years, $7 million with $4 million guaranteed. That's my offer with Alex Anzalone. 2 years, $7 million with $4 guaranteed. And I'm going to tell you why I said that a little later. But how would you feel if we brought Anzalone back? We definitely need to improve in the linebacker room. In my opinion, it was him and Rodrigo. That's all we had. That's all we had. We definitely need to upgrade. And I don't care what y'all say. Levante David is an upgrade. At 31 years old or 32, however old he is, he's an upgrade. Alex Anzalone is in his late 20s. So for me, I'm taking that. I'll bring him back. He played very well. He was definitely, to me, leaps and bounds better than he was last year. And if I offer him $7 million, 2 years, 4.5 guaranteed, would he take it? Because he is in the range of $3 to $5 million per year. I can't give him 10. I can't give him 10 because there are other free agents that will require $10 million. And I don't think Alex Anzalone earned $10 million, but we'll see. David at 42 would be an upgrade. We need LBs. Robin, I agree. 100%. 100%. So let me know what you think about Alex Anzalone wanting to stay in Detroit on a potential multi-year deal. What would, in the comment section below, give me an idea of how long would you sign? Keep in mind, your GM does not do 3-year contracts. We have not seen him do one yet. And subscribe to the channel, man. We're trying to hit 5,000 by kickoff of 2023. Hey, Robin. So you're not on Twitter, are you? You look like a dude on Twitter, man, who comes out of his house and waves the flag around when the Lions win. You look like him, but that's just from the small picture. Let him walk and draft Simpson. Okay, Nick, can we have a conversation, bro? Okay, so that's not you. Okay. So we got to have a conversation about that. Thor is not anything but serviceable, a depth piece. We need a stud linebacker, period. Okay, so give me some ideas. But you can't give me a ridiculous idea. Okay? I've heard good things about linebacker Thompson. Now remember, y'all, your general manager went round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before he took a linebacker. Y'all got to know who you're dealing with. T-Stay Cole, we will draft a linebacker. He just won't be in the first round. Brad Holmes is not that guy. It would surprise me if he takes a linebacker in the first 3 rounds. 2 things Brad Holmes has not done: a 3-year deal and draft a linebacker before the 4th round. Well, I think Derek Barnes was our highest drafted linebacker, right? We're not taking a linebacker. They're talking about Thompson comes off in the first. We passed on at least 2. This dude traded away. We could have got Lewis Sine, Nakobe Dean. We could have got whoever we wanted. He traded that away for Jamal Williams. I don't see him taking a linebacker in the first round. I agree with you, DC. I still think we need a third guy. We need a third guy. We can't have a second-year player and Anzalone being the standouts at linebacker. Like, we need somebody else, in my opinion. We need a third person. Who is that going to be? I don't know. I have no idea. But to me, bro, we absolutely have to get a linebacker. It just won't be through the draft. So when y'all doing these draft scenarios and y'all throwing out names, right, think of when Mel Kiper does a mock draft, he doesn't include how Brad Holmes is. He's not a Lions fan. He's a draft. His entire life is dedicated to the NFL draft. Like, literally, right? His entire life is dedicated to this sound. But he doesn't think of how we think, right? Hey, Robin, you and me both, bro. All I hear is Levante David's too old. Old. It seems like we just throw the word old out like nobody's business. Like, we're not even entertaining. Bobby Wagner is old in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey is quote-unquote old in the NFL. Both of them guys produced. Levante David produced. Levante David will be a step up from both Anzalone and Rodriguez. And Rodriguez is a beast in year 2. Like, he got the sky's the limit for Malcolm Rodriguez. Hey, DC, who is Mel Kiper anyway? Did they ever find his postman? Did they ever find Jim Irsay's? Who was that? The postman. Was that Irsay, bro? No, that was that wasn't Irsay. That was what was his name? I forgot his name, but I think he was the coach at the time for the Colts. Classic. 1990, what was that? 4? Somewhere around there. Classic, man. Absolutely classic. So we got something else to talk about as well. This one right here is pretty interesting. And once again, it's from our people at Fansided. My guy, Brad Behrman, as usual. Got to get Brad on the show, man. Got to get Brad on the show. That's why they're picking first in the draft every year. That mess was classic, bro. We need something like that now. That's right around the NFL draft when it was becoming a household thing. He is old. Is he old or just in comparison to the Lions? Season and experience. He's a leader. I don't see a top 100 pick at linebacker for Holmes. Neither do I. Here's what I think. When Lions fans say he's too old, I think they look at age. They look at age. They're not looking at quality, right? And if you're going to call Jalen Ramsey old, you need to go look at his production. If you're going to call Bobby Wagner old, you're going to look at his production. If you're going to call Levante David old, all you see is, and I think 9 times out of 10, Robin, it's the casual fan that's throwing, he's too old. Hey, look, I'm 43 and I can still get down. You hear me? I can still catch me outside. How about that? I still get down at 43. Now, Levante David is 31, 32 years old, but his production is still top tier. Jalen Ramsey, top tier production. So we got to stop throwing the word old out like they senior citizens or something. He's old. So this right here is very, very kind of entertaining to me. And I think Brad just kind of threw these teams out, but let's talk about them. The Detroit Lions have a decision to make, and we talked about this. Free agency is approximately six weeks away, and we are going to have to make some moves. And Brad Holmes will have the most money that he's had in Detroit Lions since he's been the general manager. We talked about it yesterday. My prediction, if my math is correct, is when the salary cap goes up, we'll have another $16 million added to the $16 million we already have. If we cut 4 players, we can have another $28 million, giving us $60 million. 51, 52 if we don't cut Romeo. If we do cut Romeo, $60 million. If we cut Quintez Cephas, 61, right? And I made a video about this guy on Detroit Lions Syndicate, and it didn't do very well, to my surprise. I thought it might have been intriguing, but the masses said no. It was one of my least watched videos, and that's about free agent wide receiver DJ Chark. Now, Brad Behrman, again, my guy over at Fansided, has 5 teams DJ Chark could leave for the Detroit Lions in free agency. And I saw this, and I was like, bruh, I said, are you doing this on purpose? Are you trolling us right now? 5 teams, okay? Listen to who these 5 teams are. That DJ Chark, if he doesn't, who already expressed he wants to be a Detroit Lion, but of course the money got to be right. Get it right, get it tight. Number 5, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers will be without Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going there. Allen Lazard is probably going to be gone as well. And I think the Green Bay Packers, with the exit of Devontae Adams last year and the exit of Aaron Rodgers coming this year, are going to be in a mini rebuild. That's what I think. The Green Bay Packers, his number 5 team that DJ Chark could go to in free agency. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we did hear about 2 weeks ago that the Chicago Bears were very high on wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. But DeAndre Hopkins, maybe Baltimore has their eye on DeAndre Hopkins, because if Lamar is indeed going to remain a Raven, he's going to need some receivers. DJ Chark, a Baltimore Raven. I don't know about that. I feel like Baltimore is not going to get over the hump with Lamar. I'm sorry. Lamar has, 1 or 2 playoff wins in his career? So, and he just finished his 5th year? I don't know. Number 3, another NFC North rival, the Minnesota Vikings. The problem with the Minnesota Vikings is they are almost $24 million over the cap. But the cap doesn't matter anyway. It really doesn't matter. Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen, if he remains there, and DJ Chark, That'd be a bit scary. So Minnesota, Baltimore, and the Green Bay Packers. Number 2, the New York Giants. Wouldn't that be hilarious if DJ Chark went over there? When our last big-name free agent wide receiver went to the New York Giants and still has 0 touchdowns in he just finished his second year. Kenny Golladay was a stud in Detroit. He got over there and is terrible. And the number 1 team that I think, honestly, we got to be the most concerned about, that would be the Chicago Bears. Because the Chicago Bears have nobody to throw the ball to. Justin Fields has Mooney. He has Claypool, which they traded for middle of the season. They also will have over $100 million in cap space. They are the number 1 team in cap space going into 2023. So that right there, that's the team that I think we have to worry about. The question is, DJ Chark has already said he wants to stay in Detroit. He also said that the money has to be right. But here's my thing about Chark and the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears play outside. We've heard they did re-sign or extend Equinemius, so he will be there. That'd be funny if Chark goes from playing with Amon-Ra to Equinemius, St. Brown. However, they play in the cold, like it's cold, and DJ Chark has a surgically repaired ankle. Now, I don't know if you guys have broken a bone, but the cold and breaks, they hurt. They do hurt. And we talked about it last week that DJ Chark is probably looking for 10 a year. Nick says 2 years, $21 million. I'm assuming to stay in the D. DC says Lamar couldn't complete a pass to DJ, and I'm saying this in downtown Baltimore. Yeah, Lamar is he's not my guy, man. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people defend him, but
man, he's so crazy, better pick up the phone. Lamar Wilson.
He has never been my guy. So if DJ doesn't want to catch balls, then he'll go to Baltimore. So what do y'all think? 5 teams that DJ Chark could leave for in free agency. Every NFC North team, which the only one really I could see, because the Green Bay Packers don't have the cap space. Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there most likely. The Minnesota Vikings, they don't have the cap space, but they got some guys over there. Wouldn't that be a trip to see him reunited with TJ? And the Chicago Bears, who will have the money to do it. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens as well. So for me, I think Baltimore is the team Chicago is the team we need to be afraid of. That's the team I think the most likely. But again, does he want to play outside in the cold? This isn't like Florida. When he was in Jacksonville, you don't have to deal with the cold. I have several breaks. They hurt. When that cold air hits, they hurt. Frog says we will pay the man 2 years, $20 million. Ravens could sign Marvin Hall for cheaper. Marvin D-Ball Hall? Is he still? I didn't even know he was still in the league. What team is he on now? But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think DJ Chark could end up on any one of those teams? I think Chicago is our biggest concern. And like we talked about yesterday, guys, Chicago is if they do things right, they quietly could be legit in a few years. But Pace got fired, right? And before that, he was messing everything up. So I think if Chicago does this right, they could be, they kind of, you could tell they were, I won't say tanking, but selling the farm kind of. They got rid of Roquan. They got rid of Quinn. They got the number 1 pick. They're trying to trade out of that for more capital, right? They have the highest salary cap space. Chicago could be threatening, man, in about 3 to 4 years. The question is, will Justin Fields be Lamar Jackson 2.0? Everybody says Lamar Jackson will be better with wide receivers. I don't believe that, because his game is to run first. I don't believe that one bit, and I have to see it to believe it. I don't believe that one bit. Now, I'll say this. I said, people be killing me, man, coming in my comment section telling me, just voicing your opinion is fine. But when people say they get I've been called disingenuous, I've been called I'm about money, I've been called, somebody said yesterday after my Calvin Johnson segment that let me read this comment. I got to do it justice. I got to make sure I read this comment because, again, I want to do it justice. But I think this is funny, man. And in the comment section, you gotta have thick skin because people like to talk a whole lot. They're very good at that. I thought I was good at talking, but people are extremely good. Also, we hit 8,000 subscribers yesterday. You know what's starting to annoy me too, y'all? Keep it a buck. Is the clickbait Lions YouTubers, man. They done got this stuff from Microphone and the Saturday morning inspection people and Swaggy and all the clickbait got to stop, man. It's got to stop, man. I'm gonna start clickbaiting. I'm gonna start putting hot girls on my thumbnails. Lion sign, lingerie model. All right, let me look at this comment, man. The clickbait thumbnails got to stop, man. All right, so let me see. Oh, shout out to the newest Lions YouTuber too, man. His name is The Roaring Looney. Just started a couple weeks ago. Love seeing new people in the fold. All right, so let me see this guy's comment, man. Okay. His name is Freddie Matthews. And Freddie Matthews says, he said this over a month ago on the Richard Sherman podcast. Well, okay, Freddie, no, he didn't, because the article that I was referring to was the Richard Sherman, the New York Post. So he continues, and you saying that you were on the Lions side, I expect nothing less. You give me a different type of vibe. So I asked Freddie, and what type of vibe is that, Freddie? People be killing, what kind of vibe? And if you gonna say something, man, boss up and say something. Hey, Brie Larson, yeah, Brie Larson is funny. People can't stand her. People can't stand, but that's funny to me. I give you a type of vibe. You don't even know me, bro. What kind of vibe do I give you? Young punk? But, I love this, though. I love this because people too scared to put their opinion on the internet because of criticism like this. So, it's all right, Freddie. Oh, man. Let me see. I got to make a couple videos today, but I think I know what video I'm going to put on Gridiron. I do have a guy that I'm talking to, hope to be talking to about the Pistons, covering the Pistons on this channel. I believe that David will be on tomorrow. I'm not sure what time he'll be on, but he should be on. But I wanted to talk about this, and I think this is cool as well. You said you know Brio? What, Brie Larson? Yep. DC, you know what I think is irrelevant. Let me stop before I get canceled. I don't mind getting canceled, but you gotta be careful, man, when you're talking about the ladies. You gotta be careful. But I think this is going to be kind of intriguing to talk about and where we go from here. And I think this will be our second to last segment. We might have one more. We talked about DJ Chark and his potential to go elsewhere when it comes to free agency. He will be a free agent coming up this season. But there's another guy that's going to be a free agent as well. And I think, in my opinion, and I know there are other people that feel differently, this is our most important free agent. We talked about this, Jamal Williams. And I saw an article from Pride of Detroit from Eric Slitt talking about where he was projecting Jamal Williams' next contract. We all saw Jamal Williams with the speech on Hard Knocks. And if you don't remember it, here it is. Jamal Williams comes up at the end of a practice, and he says, I want to let y'all know, man, today is the minimum of effort. Do not give up. Do not feel like you're tired. When you're tired, think of last year and that record. As a matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going to have some fun today. All right. Here we go. I want to let y'all know, man, today is the minimum of effort. Do not give up. When you feel like you're tired, think of last year. Think of that record. Every time I get tired or I think I can't go no more, I think of that record. Last year wasn't it. That ain't us. We can make it. Have some heart. I get emotional about this. I'm about to cry because I care about y'all. Do your best. Let's go. I love Jamal Williams, man. Jamal Williams reminds me of myself because people think tears are signs of weakness, and they're not. Just like Jamal Williams, after his great-grandfather passed away, and he dedicated the rushing touchdown record for the Lions to him, he said, don't let these tears fool you, man. I'm a dog, right? I don't know why people think tears are a sign of weakness, but I think it takes a strong person to not only cry, but be comfortable doing it. And Jamal Williams has shared that he wants to be back, and the teammates love him. We've talked about that. Campbell loves him. I'm sure Brad loves him as well. And the Lions want to bring him back. But here's the deal. And this is why in the last segment I talked about DJ Chark or Alex Anzalone, and why there's no way we're giving Alex Anzalone $10 million for 2 years when we got bigger fish to fry. I've always said that Jamal Williams was the heartbeat of this team. Your brain needs your heart, right? If your heart stops beating, you can't get any oxygen to the brain, and in 4 minutes, you are brain dead. I think Jamal Williams, for the next, as this team, second youngest team in the league, he is going on to year 7, I believe. And as long as he's on this team and we have a young team, that he can be that foundation, that heartbeat, that core, right? Jamal Williams had a $6 million deal. I don't know why I thought it was 2 years, $14 million. I think Khalif Raymond was $14 million. And I can't remember what Josh Reynolds was with their 2-year deal. But Jamal Williams had a 2-year, $6 million deal. $3.5 million was guaranteed. Now, he did hit some incentives, I believe, this year. I can't remember how much it was. But he got paid $2 million in 2021 and $4 million in 2022. But Spot Track is projecting his market value to be 2 years, $8.4 million. So Eric suggests that the next contract should look something like $3 million this year coming up and $5.4 million in 2024 with $4 million guaranteed. Nick says 2 years, $8 million. Are you okay with that? Is anybody in the chat not okay, or in the comment section not okay with Jamal Williams, 2 years, $8.4 million with $4 million guaranteed? I like that. I like that. What I would do is add incentives. Now, here's the thing. Jamal Williams had 1,066 rushing yards. DeAndre Swift, I want to say, had 740 total, all purpose. Jamal got 1,000 rushing. So when you try to compare Jamal came in here to be a running back number 2. He wound up being running back number 1. Now, let me ask you, what is the limit that you are willing to give Jamal Williams in 2023? Okay? Remember, he came in here to be running back number 2 and has essentially been number 1. This is what he actually did versus what he was projected to do. We all know he was projected to be a number 2, kind of like that bully back, that bulldozer. 17 games, 9 starts. This comes from Pride of Detroit. 459 snaps. That is 40% of the offense. He had 262 carries for 1,066 yards. He averaged 4.1 a carry. He averaged more than half those yards after contact. His average after contact, which is at the line of scrimmage, was 2.78. He had 17 touchdowns, 22 plays over 10 yards, 7 plays over 15 yards. He had 12 receptions for 16 targets and 73 receiving yards. Yeah, that ain't what Jamal does. That's what Swift does. Not that I care. His PFF overall grade was 73.5, which is 32nd out of 61. His run grade was 75.6, which is 37th out of 61. But his pass blocking grade, according to PFF, was 9th out of 61 at 72.3. He broke Barry Sanders' touchdown record, albeit one extra game. And he rushed over 1,000 yards. Remember when 1,000 yards and 100 yards a game was like a novelty for us? Jeff says Jamal must resign. Jamal A must resign. Marcus says 2 years, $9 million. 2 years, $10 million guaranteed. He's worth every penny. Frog, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad. We guaranteed DJ Chark coming off 4 games, $10 million. We could do the same with Jamal. I wouldn't be mad. McKenzie says 2 years, $11 million. He wouldn't be starting if Swift would stay healthy. But Swift ain't healthy, McKenzie. So, you know, if was a fifth, you know what they say. So that ain't Jamal's problem. Jamal come out and perform, bro. He come out and do his thing. Swift had 740 all-purpose. Jamal had 1066 on the ground. Willie says 4 years, $16 million, $8 million guaranteed. Well, Willie, not that that's, I don't dislike that, but we got to remember about our GM. Can anyone tell me of the player that Brad Holmes has signed to a 3-year contract? He doesn't do it. So he would be breaking what he usually does, Willie. Am I mad at that? Okay, that puts Jamal at 32 years old when his contract is over. Nick says $4 to $5 million, 2 to 3 years. Okay, Nick, total? $4 to $5 million total or per year? Like 10 of Jamal's TDs were within 2 yards of the goal line. We shouldn't be overvaluing players. Well, I think that's an understatement. I think you're undervaluing Jamal Williams. Okay, let's not act like 2 to 3 yard rushing touchdowns are easy. And as Jamal said on the podcast last week and on Good Morning Football, if you have to finish your food or he'll finish it for you. Let's not forget, and let's not forget of the run he had against the Green Bay Packers to eclipse 1,000 yards. Okay, so Jamal Williams, 22 plays over 10 yards, 7 plays over 15. Okay, Nick says per year. Tracy Walker got a 3-year deal and Romeo. Okay. 3 years. So they would be the only two. DC says $6 million for 3 years and a coaching job. I think that's undervalued, DC, to be honest with you. But let me know in the comments below how important on a 1 to 10 is Jamal Williams re-signing and what year and value would you give him? Eric is suggesting via Spot Track 2 years, 8.4 for guaranteed, which would be $2.5 million higher than he received his initial 2-year contract, with another $1 million guaranteed. For me, I don't dislike that deal. I would just stack it up with incentives. So it'd be like, if you do this, if you do that. Because I think he got some incentive bonuses this year as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, I think listen, the more I think about this, the more okay I am with Jamal re-signing. I'm also okay if we drafted a running back because I'm thinking about how Josh Jacobs is going to break the bank. Saquon Barkley is a no way, no how. And those are the only two running backs that I would go after. Tony Pollard is a maybe. He'll be coming off that injury. I don't think it's going to affect him adversely, but he might want a little bit of a bag too. And here's the thing. So let's talk about what you guys said about DeAndre Swift, and then we'll wrap up the show. We need another running back. DeAndre Swift, and I'll say this, and I just thought about this now. DeAndre Swift, right? Y'all remember what he did his very first game? Does anybody remember? It's kind of like a quiz. What did DeAndre do his very first game? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me why? Hey, what did DeAndre Swift do his first game as a Detroit Lion? There's one answer I'm looking for. Frog Crop said dropped it. Why is that relevant? He dropped a game-winning touchdown. Everything he did, nobody remembers except the game-winning touchdown that he dropped. Right? Why did I bring that up? Because DeAndre Swift has never, ever, in the 3 years that he's been a Lion, lived up to his potential. And it started in game one when he dropped a game-winning touchdown pass. Right? So let's go into year 4. DeAndre Swift is in year 4. Our running back room right now, we're going to throw Jamal Williams in there. Nope, you know what? Let's not throw Jamal Williams. I have to remember off the top of my head how many are under contract. DeAndre Swift is. Craig Reynolds, I don't believe is. We drafted Jamar Jefferson, so he might be, right? Justin Jackson, that's our running back room. Our free agent is Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift is the only solid back that's under contract, right? We don't even know what Jamar is capable of. So now we're going into his final year, a contract year for him, and he has not. Let's look at DeAndre Swift. Let's do that because he keeps coming up. And I want to talk about this because you can only do so much based off potential, right? Potential only gets you so far. Okay, so let's look at DeAndre Swift stats, and then that'll be all we do for today. Don't forget about tomorrow as well. Okay. The Detroit Lions are going to have a running back situation. Jamal Williams is no longer under contract. We have Justin Jefferson. We have Jamar Jefferson. We have Craig Reynolds. And I believe Jamar, the rookie we drafted in 2021, is all out of those that I mentioned and DeAndre Swift. So we had 5 running backs and 2 are under contract, if off the top of my head. We talked about previously that Jamal Williams, in my opinion, is a must re-sign. Not only for value, but for what he brings in leadership. And believe it or not, that is important. Sometimes it's more important than money. Look at Michael Brockers. Michael Brockers is getting paid to be a leader. And he better be cut in a month, period. He better be gone, right? But DeAndre Swift, who is approaching the last year, I can't believe it's already been 3 years of COVID and 3 years of DeAndre Swift. And in his 3 years, he has shown flashes like thunder. It comes, you hear it, it's gone, right? Next thing you know, the sun is out. If DeAndre Swift is supposed to be the lightning to Jamal Williams' thunder, I don't see it, right? You don't see it that often. Contract year for him. The Lions will have a decision to make. He'll have a decision to make. Our previous second-round draft pick under Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia was Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon Johnson is no longer in the league, right? Kerryon Johnson faded away in 2020 in his fourth year. His fourth year, we cut him, and by year 5, he was not in the league. Kerryon Johnson was not in the league last year, which was year number 5, right? Wasn't he drafted in 2019, or was he drafted in 2018? Either way, he spent 3.5 years in the league. He spent some time on the Eagles, on the Niners, and now he's playing video games. Kerryon Johnson is barely 25, 26 years old, right? Second round picks. Kerryon Johnson was 41, I believe, and DeAndre Swift was early second, 34-ish, somewhere around there, 34, 35. And the Lions will have a decision to make. And I got a question for you in the chat and you in the comment section. Bijan Robinson comes up. Brad Holmes, I don't know what he's going to do. The one thing I can say with some type of certainty, in my opinion, is that he's not going to take a linebacker early. His earliest linebacker was what, the 4th or 5th round? Derek Barnes, right? Malcolm Rodriguez, 6th. Re-signing Anzalone. They're not a priority for him. They are not a priority. I do expect him to make a free agent signing and he'd be a linebacker. But let's look at DeAndre Swift, and I need you to tell me if DeAndre Swift right now continues on this trend, do we re-sign him in the end of after next year? 2020, 13 games, 114 attempts for 521 yards, an average of 4.6, 8 touchdowns, 51 long. He fumbled twice. He lost both. Right? That's his rookie year. We all talked about the game-winning drive touchdown pass that he dropped from Matthew Stafford in what would be his last year as a Detroit Lion. 2021, 13 games, 151 yards, 151 attempts, 617 yards, 4.1 average with 5 touchdowns. His long was 57. DeAndre Swift's longest run in the NFL has been 57 yards. And last but not least, 2022, 14 games, 99 attempts for 542 yards, 5.5 average with 5 touchdowns. His long was 50 yards. He hasn't fumbled since his first year. So that's a total of 40 games out of 50, right? 17 is 34, and then 16. 50 games, he's played 40. He has 1,680 rushing yards. His average is 4.6, and he has 8 touchdowns. Do we re-sign DeAndre Swift if he continues down this trend? His best year rushing was year 2 at 617. The most games he's played was year 3, which is last year, at 14. His most attempts were year 2. His longest average was year 3. His most touchdowns was year 1. His longest run was year 2. He hasn't fumbled since year 1. He's too inconsistent running up the middle. Frog says Jamal is our number 1 next year. Well, then that's going to be a problem. Frog, that's going to be a problem. If Jamal Williams is our number 1 next year, we will have no run game. I hate to break it to you. Jamal Williams, we just went over his stats. Jamal Williams got contacted at the line of scrimmage. He averaged 4.1 yards a carry. 2.7 were after contact, which means that right after he passed the line of scrimmage was the initial contact. That means, on an average, when Jamal Williams was 1.5 yards past the line of scrimmage was first contact. That means he fell for the other 2.7. If Jamal Williams is number one, we're not going to have a run game. We might have a scat back game, a Theo Riddick-esque game. And this is where Bijan Robinson, this is why that draft pick is so appealing. If you think that Bijan is in the realm of possibility of Saquon Barkley, and you have a guy that is in the last year of his deal, because, so what's the answer? What's the answer? Jamal Williams, number one. If DeAndre Swift stays down, if this trajectory stays the same, do we sign him for next year? Remember when the season first started, and let's not forget, y'all, that most of that that 542 that DeAndre Swift had came before he got hurt initially against what? Minnesota? In whatever week that was, right? DeAndre Swift was, I want to say, trending being the rushing leader before he got hurt. So I'm going to keep it a buck. No, we do not. Now, I'm going to throw something out here that might be kind of left field, but also may not be. Swift got hurt the first game. He got hurt against the Eagles. I thought it was a little later. I thought like we lost him and Cephas in Minnesota. And St. Brown went out, but he tried to come back in. So I'm going to say no, that we don't. We don't re-sign DeAndre Swift. But this is going to be a very telling year for DeAndre because he spent 1 year under Matt Patricia. He spent 2 years under Dan Campbell and Deuce Staley. We saw how hard Deuce Staley was on DeAndre Swift, and now Deuce Staley is gone. So will DeAndre Swift progress? Will he progress or regress? That's the question. Now, in my opinion, Swift has nothing to lose because whether he's playing for a contract next year, what is he going to do? So what is the answer to the question? Do we re-sign DeAndre Swift if he ends the season with what he did the past 3 years? The max he's played is 13 games out of 50. His most rushing attempts was 151. His most yards was 617. His biggest average was 5.5. His most touchdowns was 8. His long was 57, and he's fumbled twice. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. For me, if DeAndre Swift is getting outrun by Jamal Williams, that's a problem. So I'm going to tell you what I have to do. What if just for me to offer DeAndre Swift a contract, right? That's if we don't take a running back this year. So we don't know until we know. DeAndre Swift, he's a running back. I'll give him 13 games. In those 13 games, he got to have 150, 200 attempts. He got to have about 800 yards. I would say 1,000. Like he got to run for 25% more than he's run. So for me, he got to be pushing 1,000 rushing. And the touchdowns doesn't matter because if we keep Jamal Williams, we already know what happened. If you don't finish your food, he gonna finish it for you. And he has to get a breakaway touchdown. I mean, I'm not gonna cut him if he still get those 900 yards and they're all within the 20, or if he get caught at the 1, I'm not gonna hold that against him. But we drafted Swift, and Swift, as far as the run game, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I would sign Jamal Williams for 2 years and trade Swift and draft Bijan. Swift has no trade value. I think he has very little. I think you would get one pick I think you would get one pick. My honest opinion, you would get a 3rd-round pick for DeAndre Swift. That's what I think. But let me know what you think in the comments below. So those are my thoughts, y'all. I know I'm very critical, but I was the same way on Kerryon Johnson, and I called Kerryon Johnson not being in the league. I called it. You could see it. And my fear, y'all, is that DeAndre Swift is trending down that same path, that he will be out of the league. I think he's more talented than Kerryon, so I think that'll save him. But I think his second stint in the NFL is his last. I think now he's uber talented. You can see it. I mean, some of it, when he caught that ball against Washington, got up and scored. When he played, I forgot what game it was. He caught a pass he cut to the outside, cut inside, put my man on skates, touched it. You'd be like, bro, if we could see that all the time, that's the Swift we want to see. So for me, that's what I need from DeAndre Swift. Do I think we would get a 6th-rounder? Absolutely. Fresh and fly. Wow, says he'll be another Amir Abdullah. Bro, that is the perfect fit. That's the perfect comparison. 100%. Because you could tell Kerryon, you could just see he wasn't going to be around for long. Right? And with Swift, you can see he's there. He's got talent, but he just can't fully utilize it. My worst fantasy trade ever, trading for Kerryon Johnson. Yeah. You know what the sad part about Kerryon is? Is that Kerryon seems happy he's no longer playing football. Right? Have you seen the stories on Kerryon Johnson? His time at Auburn, what it took for him to get to the league. He gets to the league. And, okay, in his defense, I will say, he did have to play under Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia drafted him. So I will say that I'll give him some slack on being Matt Patricia's draft pick. But Jelani Tavai was Matt Patricia's draft pick. TJ Hawkinson was Matt Patricia's draft pick. And they still in the league, right? Jelani over there thriving. I was hoping we saw that from Kerryon, but I think I've always said Kerryon work ethic was why he was going to be out the league. It wasn't that he couldn't stay healthy. It was his work ethic that he was going to be out. Yeah, Titus Young, bro. Titus Young was that was a sad thing because I think he had talent, small dude. But Kerryon, man, you could just, so for me, I think that's the perfect comparison. Where DeAndre Swift, he's still in the league. Amir Abdullah is when did we draft him? 15, 16? He's got to be going in year 7 or 8, right? So that's a great comparison because he's so talented, he can stay in the league as something. But I'm not sure, y'all. So we're going to wrap it up, man. I appreciate y'all. What's up, Derwin? Y'all be killing me finding me at the end. Y'all better be glad we ran over because otherwise I'll be off. But we got a lot more stuff to talk about. I saw that somebody's shooting up the draft boards. It's a quarterback. The Senior Bowl was this weekend or something. So a lot of stuff going on. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next week. But yeah. But if you listen, I'll say this. This will be my motivational quote for the weekend. I said something similar the other day, but I'll say something different today. Is very similar to Jamal Williams and his message in training camp during Hard Knocks. When you're tired, fight through it. When it's something you don't want to do, just remember that you can't accomplish it. Nobody can do it but you. And if you don't do it, then who will, right? Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, other people are going through it too. You're not alone. And if you want greatness, you have to fight for it. You have to achieve it. Nobody's going to give it to you. And don't matter what other people think, man. Don't care about it. Do not care about it. It took me into my late 30s, early 40s, and now I don't give a ratatouille what anyone thinks. I'm good at what I do. I want to be great. I want to be, when I have my eye set on something, it's trained on that thing. And my eye is set on getting so big that eventually somebody wants to buy what I'm doing. That's my goal. And I'm not going to let anybody, any YouTuber, any non-YouTuber, somebody on the street, a family member, nobody stand in my way, right? So that's my motivational quote for today. Nobody is going to give it to you. You got to go get it. With that being said, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. And I will see you on Monday. Don't forget, man, show David some love tomorrow, y'all. Because y'all show David some love, man. And Nick, too, on Tuesday. I'll see y'all Monday. Peace. Well, maybe. Go Lions.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet.